What is going on, you guys? Rex the Speed Demon here, and we back with another one. Today's video is gonna be on how to save you guys possibly hundreds of dollars by only spending $3 to $5. All right. I'm sure we all seen this light once or twice in our vehicles in the winter, right? The TPMS sensor light. None of us like it. We don't know how or why it comes on, or you might not know how or why it comes on. So I'll give you a little history lesson. So back in 2000, Ford Explorers were being equipped with tires from Firestone, and they were having failure issues and causing a lot of fatalities. So that sparked up a huge thing where the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, they came out with something called the TREAD Act. This act was introduced and put into place in October, I believe, of the year 2000. Prior to the year 2000, there were no warning lights. That tire just deflated until you crashed and burned. The government had to get involved, and they basically made a law that every car had to be fitted with a system to basically tell you when your tires are getting low. All right. And that system was the tire pressure monitoring system. But yeah, so every vehicle from 2000, October of 2000 on, had to be fitted with that in order to let people know when their tires were too low. So that system basically turns on your dashboard when your tires get 25% underneath the recommended level. So usually if you walk to any of your vehicles, pop your door open, and sometimes it'll be on this side of the door, which is not, but usually it's going to be over here. These stickers that are usually in plain sight that we never look at. All right, so if you notice, it has the tire size. So this is your correct tire size, P235/7016. It says front and rear. So if you go to front, this is the recommended size, 32 PSI. And if you go to the rear, scroll over, 32 PSI. On to the part where we save money. On each tire, we have something called valve stems, and this is where you pretty much put the air inside of the tire. Some people like to shop around and get these fancy valve stems. Excuse me, valve stem caps, not valve stems. The valve stems are the metal part. The caps are the things that go on it. Carrying on. And if you notice, this one's plastic, and there's a reason for that. As you can see, the inside's plastic where the threads are, the outside's plastic, right? And if you live in the Northeast, like I do, you're gonna wanna get these ones that are completely plastic. Reason being, and this is where you save money. So, like I said, we live in the Northeast, and when you drive around in the winter, there's a whole lot of elements and shit you got to worry about. Road grime, debris, salt, condensation, water, all kinds of shit. And when you get these little caps that have the metal threading inside, the fancy ones that have like stars and they light up, yeah, they look cool, and you put them on there in the winter, when salt and everything gets in it and on it, guess what happens? The two pieces of metal, they bind together and you can't get it off. Let's say, you know, your TPMS sensor is low, meaning your tires need air in them, and you can't get this off by simply going to a gas station or somewhere to just fill up your tire. Now we have a problem. We have to bring your vehicle to a mechanic, and they're gonna have to replace this whole freaking stem. And sometimes that means also replacing the sensor depending on how broken it is or how much they have to fight with it to break it, right? All right, so in order to gain access to that valve stem or TPMS sensor, well, first of all, a valve stem is basically just a stem, but sometimes at the bottom of that stem, there's a sensor connected to it. Not on all vehicles, but on some vehicles. Okay, sometimes it's just a stem, but if there's a sensor connected to the bottom of it, it's a TPMS sensor. But other vehicles, usually like on trucks, the TPMS sensor is wrapped around a band that's on the inner rim. Getting back to it, in order to gain access to that TPMS sensor, first you have to remove the wheel from the vehicle. Well, not you, but the mechanic you bring it to. And then after you remove the wheel from the vehicle, you have to deflate that tire and you have to separate the tire from the wheel. Some people can do it without separating the full tire, but you get my drift. Those valve stems, they could run you anywhere between, if it's just a valve stem, I think they're like 10 to 15 bucks. Maybe less, I could be wrong. Those caps, they're not gonna, because they're not metal, and if you get the plastic ones, they're not gonna rust to each other, right? So if you do come to a situation where that TPMS light comes on, you could just, if you have the plastic ones, you can undo them yourself. You ain't gotta worry about, fighting with it or anything. Comes right off. It's not gonna rust, it's not gonna bind. Some of them might take a little extra thumb strength, but the plastic ones come right off. You ain't gotta worry about nothing. Now, if you get the metal ones and they rust, okay? Sometimes when they rust, you have to use a tool to get them off, or some shit, and sometimes you wind up even breaking the valve stem while trying to do it, okay? And this is where it costs you money. So if you have an all-wheel drive vehicle and you can't get that off and you can't get to a gas station to fill your own tires, some people, they end up driving around like that, just ignoring the sensor. They continue driving around. That tire, that one tire that needs filling, or two tires, they start wearing and tearing unevenly, which eventually ends up, when you do finally get to a mechanic or to somebody who can change it out for you, it ends up costing you extra money, because instead of replacing one valve stem or one tire, if you have an all-wheel drive vehicle, you're gonna have to replace all of them. All right, so spending $3 to $5 if you don't have valve stem covers at all, or you have the one with the metal inside, go to Walmart, any auto parts store, spend the $3 to $5. It's gonna save you hours of time from having to drop your car off at a mechanic to change that TPMS sensor and fit you into an appointment. Also, it'll save you hundreds of dollars by having to purchase, new stems, possibly a new sensor because, it broke from the elements, and possibly even more. You know what I'm saying? $3 to $5, it'll save you time and a whole bunch of money. I hope this video was informational. Hope it helped you guys out. Hope you guys heed my advice. I'm telling you, $3 to $5, it'll get you a long way, especially with that little small thing right there. But I got a video coming soon on how to basically get your entire car or motorcycle, I should say, ready for winter. Coming soon. Look out for that. Like, subscribe, and I appreciate you guys for definitely spending time and looking at my videos. All right, peace.